Hey, friends, this is not a great topic, but Whoopi Goldberg made some stupid comment about America is as bad as Iran. And a lot of Iranians have taken exception to that because, of course, it's not. Iran is 10 times worse than America. America's great. We love America. And if Whoopi doesn't, she ought to go someplace else. That's the way I look at it. But let's jump into this. This is an Iranian-American woman talking about or reacting to Whoopi's ignorant post.
Let's ask somebody who actually does know what it's like to live under the Iranian regime if these comparisons are at all valid, and frankly, they're just not. Iranian-American attorney and activist whose family fled Iran following the 1979 Islamic Revolution, Elika Laban, joins us now. Elika, thank you for being here. It's such a dishonorable comment, not only to the United States and what we are, but also to those thousands of people who've been murdered by that regime. I mean, it's just, it makes a ridicule of what their lives stood for and what their families have gone through. What does it make you feel when you know what actually you can make a real comparison between the two countries?
You know, what it really speaks to now more than anything else is this mass collective delusion that we are living in. We're living in a country that provides us so much safety, so much privilege, so much comfort that people don't even know what it's like to live in other parts of the world. And because, you know, the world has been saturated with so much disinformation, this disinformation that was heightened particularly after October 7th, where there was this narrative that, you know, these terrorists are just freedom fighters and they're not that bad. It normalized this idea that actually these regimes in other parts of the world are not that bad and maybe they're not even that different to the United States. Then you have people who are living in the lap of luxury saying things like living in the United States is exactly the same as living in Iran. Well, it's not anything like living in Iran because Iran, they are hanging people from cranes statistically once every 6 hours. Just 2 weeks ago, they amputated 2 people's arms because they were accused of theft.
Oh, hold on now. This is true of all the Arab countries. If you are caught stealing, they remove your right hand. And there's a reason why they chose the right hand. Your left hand is used to clean yourself with. Your right hand you use to eat and to greet people. So if you lose your right hand, if you're a Muslim, you will not eat with your left. They'll die of starvation before they'll eat with their left. And with no longer having a right hand, they become social outcasts. Now, because of the severity of their punishment for people having crimes, they don't have much in the way of crimes. I lived in Bahrain, which is right near Iran, an Arab country. I graduated high school from there. And I can tell you that you could take your car, drive it into downtown, leave the engine running, the windows down, doors unlocked, $10,000 in cash on the dashboard where everybody could see it, and leave. Come back a month later. The car and the money will all be there. Of course, it will have run out of gas, but nobody would touch it. Nobody. In Bahrain, 1976, 77, when I was there, just before the Iranian revolt, cars were fairly new concept to a lot of them because having a lot of money was a new concept to a lot of them. Used to be only the extremely wealthy had vehicles, but now when I was there, everybody had vehicles. And they would drive down the road, and if they got an accident, they would simply get out of that car and leave it there and go get another car. And just that, they would throw it on the side of the highway, much like people today would throw a McDonald's bag. They just leave the car there. And of course, nobody else is going to touch it. Finally, the king, Sheikh Isa bin Salman de la Khalifa, he eventually decided to create a group of people that would go around and tow all these cars littering their roads. So when she's complaining about, oh, how horrible they are that they actually cut off their hands, I'm a big proponent of that. I think if we did that in this country, crime would come to a grinding stop. These people breaking into stores and stealing stuff, all that petty theft would end in a heartbeat. End in a heartbeat. So I disagree with her on this point. I want to point out, too, her age. This Iranian girl is, half my age? So her family left Iran in 1979. I doubt she was even born in 1979. Maybe she was, but I don't think she's that old. So let's go on.
Did they have due process? Did they have fair trials? No, that does not exist under the Islamic regime in Iran. When protesters came out in the streets to protest against this regime, which is our unequivocal right under the Constitution in the United States, did they get met with the same treatment? No, they were shot to death and they had their eyes shot out as punishment. So my response is, how dare you?
They were shot to death and then their eyes were shot out as punishment. I think being shot to death was probably enough, but whatever.
How dare anybody compare the life that they're fortunate enough to live in the United States to what Iranian people are going through now and have been going through for the past 46 years?
Yep.
Well, look, I'll also remind people that Whoopi Goldberg, this was a little more than 3 years ago, and she said it more than once, the Holocaust is not about race. It was not about race. The Holocaust was not about race. She said, you couldn't tell who was Jewish. She kept repeating that.
Whoopi's not smart enough to realize that there are different people of different races that are the same color. You don't have to specifically be a different color to be a different race. Whites, Hispanics, a lot of people are white and different races. So, but then again, Whoopi's a mental midget. We all know that.
That, you could see my race, but, if you see somebody walking down the street, you don't know if they're a Jew or not. And she was suspended by ABC, but she kept repeating the same thing over and over again. She said it was about man's inhumanity to man, not about race. So, but this kind of ignorance, and this is willful ignorance, really permeates the left. And it is hard to be online and see some of the garbage people have said about Iran in its defense.
Oh, absolutely. And as somebody who came from the left, you really have to ask these questions. Okay, if you're safe because people don't know that you're a Jew, what happens when they find out? What happens when they find out? So if you're saying that visibility is equal to unsafety, then the only cure you're offering these people is that they should hide themselves. You're saying you're absolutely fine because so long as nobody knows you're a Jew, you'll be safe. Then you shouldn't practice your religion openly. You shouldn't have you shouldn't wear anything that denotes that you might be of that faith. And in fact, they did have access to know exactly who the Jews were in Nazi Germany. They obviously have documents. They obviously have names. They obviously have passports and birth certificates, and that is exactly why it was a Holocaust at that time. And ironically, it is the same thing that they are bringing to the Western world today, because by disseminating this propaganda that is so pro authoritarians and terrorists, just because they happen to be the ones that are fighting Jews, right? Mm-hmm. People are now rallying behind the most dangerous and authoritarian regimes in the world just because of this impulse of anti-Semitism that they have in them. And that is exactly what happened in Nazi Germany. They voted for the party that promised to go against Jews, and they brought in a dictatorship. And that's exactly what they're going to do if they keep going down this line.
Elika, great to see you. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you,
here.
Elika.
Thank you.
Sorry, audio. Yeah, so she's absolutely right. And you see these liberals in America today trying to argue against the Iran, dropping bombs in Iran. These people just don't understand. I mean, they're willing to just burn a city down, all under misunderstanding. The ignorance is just insane, and I think that's the fundamental problem I think we're working on today. I saw a video the other day. Some girl was trying to argue that the founders of America were uneducated. Washington, Adams, Jefferson were uneducated people. Benjamin Franklin. She's clueless. Their education level was so much higher than what the average is today. It's unbelievable. Just unbelievable. So, well, my friends, there you go. Whoopi shooting her mouth off as usual. I hope you enjoy this kind of content. I'll try to bring more every time I try to find these sort of weird little things like this. I'm going to try to bring some attention to them. Give us a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. And please do subscribe. I need subscribers desperately, so please subscribe. Thank you.